Hello, Chief Environmental Officer Mordred Viking here. We recently released the Toxoids Species Pack, and we're just overwhelmed with the community's response. We knew Toxoids was going to shake up the meta in Stellaris, and we've been watching you all on social media, Reddit, Discord, Steam, and the forums, and we're loving the theory crafting and new combinations our community is finding with this new content. Today, we're going to be showing off 3 of our favourite Toxoids builds that we've found so far, and one you should never play. But first, for those of you who missed it, we've already released our first hotfix for the 3.5 Fornax update. There were issues we became aware of before or shortly after launch, and we didn't want to rush out untested fixes. You can find a link to the dev diary and notes in the description below. In that dev diary, game director Eladrin teased some other things as well. But I digress. Our first build to show off today we're calling Relentless Zombies from the Deep. This build features the Cave Dweller's trait from the Subterranean origin, as well as Radiotrophic, Budding, and Noxious traits. Non-adaptive is a free 2-point pick here, since Noxious and Subterranean combine to give a flat minimum of 80% habitability on all worlds. Moving on to government and ethics, we chose a corporate authority since permanent employment and the budding trait stack organic pop assembly. We recommend doing genetic ascension with this build and removing the noxious traits from your zombie pops, since having non-noxious pops will make your noxious species happier. And of course, what build with uncapped mining districts and 80% minimum habitability would be complete without relentless industrialists? Mine, refine, tomb world your planets and pay half the upkeep on your pops on the tomb worlds because of Radiotrophic. Protect the bottom line at all costs. Brains! Our second build for today we found on Reddit, Noxious Necrophage. The Necrophage origin starts with a second pre-patent species, and right away we want to exploit this second species to be able to grow fast. Anywhere. Add incubators and extremely adaptive. These pops will not be making leaders, so feel free to give them fleeting and slow learners, and repugnant. You'll want to set up feeder planets and let your pre-patent species auto-resettle to where there are jobs, since pops with the incubators trait grow faster when there are fewer pops on the planet. Next, you'll want the Noxious trait on your main species to offset the tomb worlds you'll be making with relentless industrialists. Add in mutagenic spars on your industrial worlds to further boost your pre-patent species growth. It's important to note that you can spec this build however you like at this point. With 1 trait point and 4 trait picks, there are plenty of options available. Your pre-patent species have very little political power, and your main pops will be extremely happy to have them around because of the Noxious trait. You can also swap Relentless Industrialists for Memorialists after you have a few tomb worlds polutiformed. Our third Empire build we're calling Brain Blobs from Outer Space. This build takes advantage of the Overtune's ability to stack similar traits. Add elevated synapses, intelligence, and augmented intelligence for a 50% research from jobs at the game's start. We took weak and repugnant for our negative traits, and we'll show you why in a moment. Setting up your government, we took Fanatic Materialist for the 10% research speed, as well as minus 20% robot upkeep. Robots will be important for resource collection since we took weak as one of our species' traits. For our other ethnic, we took Xenophobe, since we'll want to have some of the spiciest species rights options when we find other empires. For civics, we took Masterful Crafters for the extra trade value and the engineering research, and the extra building slots will be helpful to build more research labs. This build really shines when you conquer your first world, since you start with the ability to genetically modify species, and since you'll want to advance towards genetic ascension anyway, other species should be set to indentured servitude. And, since indentured servitude pops cannot create leaders, feel free to genetically modify them to your toxic little heart's delight. What could possibly go wrong? And finally, we come to the last build. The one that you'll never want to play. The special overtune traits reduce your leader's lifespan. Biological pops have an average lifespan of 80 years. If you stack enough of these overtuned traits, it's possible to reduce the lifespan so far that you're unable to actually keep a leader alive long enough to actually survey a single system. We won't go too far into this build because our friend EP30 has already done a better job than we ever could. Check out the description in the video for a link to EP30's 80-year lifespan video. The Toxoid Species Pack is available now. This has been our favourite community build from week 1 of the Toxoid Species Pack. We can't wait to see what craziness you'll come up with for next week. Thanks very much for watching, we hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Stellaris content here on the Stellaris channel.